Huff, self-styled lifestyle Corona teen expert. I'm just going to give you a couple quick pieces of advice for how to stay healthy, wealthy, and wise during this quarantine. If you're fucking someone, that's your boyfriend now. If you were mad at your mom, you're not anymore. She's really worried about you. If you have a brother, that's awesome. Call him all the time. Wash your hands every day, 3 times a day. More than that if you want to. Wash your tongue out with soap. Don't ever say swears. Praise God. If you're not religious, you should be, maybe just in case. It's a good time to ignore all your irrational fears, but lean into your rational ones. If you were ever afraid of flying on a plane, as it turns out, that was right. Lean into that. You were afraid of planes, afraid of going outside of your house. That was because you get it. Really double down on that fear. If you were afraid of the government, that was wrong. The government's the only thing that's going to get us out of this. We got to trust Mommy Daddy. Mommy Merkel's going to watch us from her big house in her quarantine, and if we do bad, she's going to ground us and put it on involuntary lockdown. So you got to be really good. Make sure you always say, thank you, Mom. If she's ever mad at you, you got to do better.
You'll never be more beautiful than you are now. You'll also never be uglier than you are now.
If you were mad at me, stop it. If you were mad at me before this, cut that out. You're not mad at me anymore. You really miss me a lot, and you hope I'm doing well in Berlin. You know that I've made mistakes in the past, but in some ways it's like having we all made mistakes, and I'm kind of really open about it in a way that I think ultimately is really charming. And just to close, I just want to emphasize an earlier point, which is if you are having sex with someone, if you were having sex with them before the lockdown, that person is your boyfriend now, regardless of gender. That person is your boyfriend. You're that person's girlfriend. I'm recording this right now from the house of someone who I fucked a couple times before quarantine, and we live together now. Straight couples only, baby. Only straight allowed during lockdown. And you quote me on that. You quote me on that. If you're bisexual, shut it down. Shut it. I thought about that last thing I said for a second about only straight people being allowed during quarantine, and actually I doubled down on that. That was right. That was how I wanted to say it. That's what I think. If you're in a gay couple, that's straight couple now. I don't make the rules. I'm just a certified lifestyle and quarantine expert. In addition to being a self-certified lifestyle quarantine expert, I also moonlight as an astrologer. So I'm just going to quickly run down all of the signs, which I absolutely remember off the top of my head. We're going to go ahead and start with Aries, babies of the zodiac. Aries, bad news for you during quarantine. If you get coronavirus, you will die. Again, the angels are telling me that if you are an Aries and you get coronavirus, it will be the thing that kills you. I'm so sorry to tell you that. If you want to stop watching this video now and start making plans, I understand. Then again, if you don't get coronavirus, you won't die, or you will die eventually, but it will be something else. Next sign in the zodiac, I'm going to go ahead and say it's Pisces. Pisces. If you get coronavirus, you will live it. It will make you actually stronger. It will make you stronger than ever. Good news for you. Go out and lick a lamppost, bitch. It's going to be good for you. Next sign in the zodiac, of course, that's going to be Capricorn. Capricorn, quarantine is going to be fine for you. You're going to finish that thing you were working on. That thing you're working on, you're going to finish it. It's going to be your King Lear. It's going to be your Shakespeare King Lear quarantine book. The next sign in the zodiac and the last sign in the zodiac is Scorpio. That's me. You are going to move in with the guy that you started fucking before quarantine, Allie. You're going to live there. You're going to struggle with it a little bit. You're going to still be able to reach out to yourself. Well, that's it for me. I don't know if there'll be another quarantine advice video, because after this, I think I'm going to get very, very sick.
Finally, it's done. Okay, so what I'm looking for is people that like to go out of their comfort zone and essentially are going to show me something new, because I don't find it easy to get out of the house, and yeah, give me a reason to get out of the house. Okay, so Prost, hope to meet you soon.
I'm looking for someone who has a fucked up face, like a big, gnarled dick, like a tree branch-like dick. And I like a little danger, so I'm specifically looking for people who have recently traveled to China or Iran or Italy, who have a high fever and a persistent cough. You can come. Also, I guess ideally looking for someone who is 5'7" to 6'2", or whatever that is in centimeters. I don't know, and I don't care.
Hello. Hello, lovers, future lovers, past lovers, and current lovers. I see you, Mikey. You don't need to hide in the back. Everybody knows about us. It is yours truly, Svetlana, from Tal Mountain in Slovenia, also known as North Slovakia. What day is it? I don't know. I have been self-isolating my whole life, so I'm fine. But in this day of need, what everybody really needs is some good old dick jokes. And I'm glad to present the next submission to you by my almost cousin, Pavlo. I would choose Pavlo over anyone any day. Also over you, Mikey. Go to hell, Mikey. Nobody needs you. Pavlo is so funny, and also one of the few decent human beings left. Well, have fun, and I'll see you someday.
I am a person who likes to watch videos, and I'm watching a lot of videos at the moment, because like you, and you, and you, I'm staying home because I'm a responsible citizen. Yes, so I've been asked to present a video in this showing, and I think I decided for this one that we're going to show next, which is very nice, and I've chosen it because I'm a great lover of onomatopoeia. So let the camera roll, or whatever you do these days, just let me know. Is that working now? Good.
Click, clack. This is a reading. There is no need for applause. Click, clack. Is it possible for a person to be incapable of making a specific sound? Click, clack. Is the impediment psychological, technical, or physical? Click, clack. Repeat after me. Ukabakaba, ukokoko. Click, clack. This is consciousness of sound. Click, clack. It is also sound consciousness. Click, clack. Exploring the spectrum of perception. Click, clack. Reaching the limits of the larynx. Click, clack. A thought on the philosophy of language. Click, clack. Which is also the building block of communication. Click, clack. The foundations of logic. Click, clack. The processing of intellect. Click, clack. The beginning of common sense. Click, clack. a sense not common to all. Click, clack. Volume is the amplitude or loudness of the sound. Click, clack. Pitch is determined by how fast or slow the vibrations of the particles occur in sound. Click, clack. Tone is the sound made by the vibrating muscular bands in the larynx. Click, clack. Cadence is the rhythmic flow of a sequence of sounds. Click, clack. Rhythm is a strong, regularly repeated pattern of sound. Click, clack. The mastery of these elements is fundamental to the exchange of information. Click, clack. In this poem, I have said nothing. Click, clack. Yet I have used a lot of words. Click, clack. Language is the biggest miscommunication. Click, clack. This has been a reading. There is no need for applause. Please clap. Click, clack.
Hello. Good evening. I am NATASHA BIKINIOFF, reporting live and unimpressed. This evening I am bringing to you a little participation for the Apocalytic show. I will be introducing the next video. I am so honored to be doing this because in the short time I have spent living in Berlin, I find myself constantly part of the David Bowie tribute. And this young man will give you a little Bowie, a little love, and also a reminder that stay home is good. Remember, if you get lonely, masturbate.
David Bowie's Life on Mars on the ukulele on one leg. It's a god-awful small affair to the girl with the mousy hair, 'cause her mummy is yelling no, and her daddy has told her to go, but her friend is nowhere to be seen as she walks through a sunken dream to the seat with the clearest view, and she's stuck to the silver screen. But the film is a satin bore, and she wrote it 10 times or more. She could spit in the eyes of fools as they ask her to focus on sailors fighting in the dance hall. Oh man, look at those cavemen go. It's the freakiest show. Take a look at the lawman beating up the wrong guy. Oh man, wonder if he'll ever know who's in the best-selling show. Says their life on Mars. It's on America's tortured brow that Mickey Mouse has grown up a cow. Now the workers have struck for vain, 'cause Lennon's on sale again. See the mice in their million hordes, from Ibiza to the Norfolk Broads, where Britannia is out of bounds. To my mother, my dog and clowns. But the film is a sagging bore, and I wrote it 10 times or more. It's about to be writ again, as I ask her to focus on sailors fighting in the dance hall. Oh man, look at those cavemen go. It's the freaky show. It's the lawman beating up the wrong guy. Oh man, wonder if he'll ever know who's in the best-selling show. Is their life on Mars?
Hello and welcome to another episode of Dystopian and Parallel Universe Film. I'm your host Chris Davis. Today I want to talk to you about my favourite film of all time. It's a dystopian parallel universe where Marilyn Monroe is actually the responsible person behind the assassination of JFK. Now this classic crime thriller has huge nuggets in it. It kind of wants to really show you, drop some powerful hints that it was Marilyn Monroe, and I want to talk to you about them today. 1. The opening scene. Werewolf washing its hands. Now, that's a small hint to Marilyn Monroe's hands themselves, which were, contrary to popular belief, renowned for being big, hairy, bastard hands. She was actually the original Van Morrison of the 40s and 50s, quite frankly, and there was a reason why she always wore white gloves to hide those from the public sector. She used a lot of soap in this particular scene, which is kind of metaphorical for ridding the blood of her assassination hands. But what's the most poignant part of this film is when she sings Happy Birthday, Mr. President. Now, she chose to use this song because it was the most relatable song between her and the president in the public sphere. But I have it on good grounds that the producers actually wanted to use her recorded yet unreleased song Back into the Side. But she wasn't really comfortable with this. She thought it would be too obvious for the audience, and she, in her very classic Marilyn Monroe way, wanted something a lot more subtle. So I can highly recommend this film. It's informative, it's biographical, it's happy and sad all at the same time. I'm your host Chris Davis. Tune in next week to Dystopian Parallel Universe videos where we will be looking whether Lance Armstrong could have been the Greek god Apollo. Tune in next week.
Mr. President, happy birthday to you.
Is this working? Yes. Hello, Mike. This is your mother talking to you. Now you listen to me carefully. I saw the video that you sent to the Open Apocalyptic. They sent it to me, and I came to realize what kind of vulgar atrocities you are talking about on stage. Now I know in my heart that this is not the son that I raised. This is not the way I raised you, Mike. And this is why, as a punishment, I will let everyone in the audience see for themselves the kind of son that I raised. God bless your soul. I love you, Mom.
Yeah, so the first performer we have tonight, she is a force of nature. She's one of my favorite performers here in Berlin. I've never had a bad time seeing her on stage. I actually have always had an amazing time seeing her on stage. She's gonna do puppetry for us tonight. So please give a big round of applause for Duckie L'Orange!
Anyway, okay. It doesn't work, Anja. Can't hear myself. It doesn't work. Testing. That's alright. We don't need that. G'day. My name's Old Mate. As the name suggests, I'm old. That wasn't a joke. I've been around for a long time, you know. Things have changed a lot since I was little. Don't get me started on smartphones. Oh. You know, everything's got to be smart these days. I miss the days when everything was dumb, you know? Back in my day, my parents were dumb, I was dumb, all my friends are dumb. You know, I saw the other day an advertisement for a smart bag. I just want a dumb bag, you know? It carries your stuff. Maybe it also votes AfD. That's how, you know, that's the compromise. I even saw, I shit you not, this is real, I saw advertise a smart blanket. Like, what the fuck is that? A guy with glasses who lies on top of you? I don't know. I'd be happy with the dumb watch. It just tells the time, but it also reads the Daily Mail. You can even get a smart fridge these days, you know. But I don't think my fridge is such a genius, because I caught it trying to put a crystal yoni egg in its vagina. Yeah, I don't know. I even saw a smart garbage bin in Prince Lauerberg. No idea what the fuck that was for. Probably smarter than most of the people around there, though. Maybe when you chuck almond milk in there, it calls you a dickhead. Yeah, because it's killing the bees, you know. Switch to Hafermilch. Get with the program. Now, don't get me started on the Internet of Things. What a shit name. They might as well have called it the Internet of Stuff. Or the Internet of Shit. I don't know, I think you should probably work on your marketing, whoever invented that thing. Blip. Oh, it's a message from my toilet. Blip. You have a new shit. Blip. More fiber, please. Blip. Bit of blood in this one. Blip. Making an appointment to see your doctor. Now that'd be the Internet of Shit. Blip. Apology message from your dick. Sorry about last night. That'd be handy. My wife's vibrator is now connected to the egg timer. Even before breakfast is ready. And if I ever feel like making eggs while she's at work, then I'm in trouble. Notification from the toaster. Blip. Toast's nearly done. Blip. Toast's done. Blip. Toast's burnt. House is on fire. You're a dickhead. Don't get me started on the World Wide Web. Every day I'm wondering if I'm a replicant. Practically every day some bloody website's asking me if I'm human. I don't fucking know. Tell me. How can a human even prove that? Do I have to, say I think, therefore I am? Do I have to be on Tinder? I don't know. Do I have to question my career decisions? How do I prove I'm a human? I was in a bit of a panic, but then I realised there's a little button, and it says, I'm not a robot. And you just have to click that to prove that you're a human. Now, I'm no science genius or nothing, but don't you think they could invent a robot that presses a button that says, I am not a robot? Or is it like one of those robot laws, you know, like robots can't kill people? It's like they also can't tell lies. A la Jim Carrey in Liar Liar. You know, you say, oh, do I look good today? No, you look fat as fuck. Should I take out a gym membership? Lost cause, you lazy bastard. Was the moon landing a hoax? No. Oh, okay. That's disappointing. Is the Pope shit in the woods? No. Do I shit in the woods? No. Okay, then how do you explain that shit on the front porch? Karen said, stop doing that. Anyway, I actually think maybe I am a robot, because now the challenge has got even harder. There's these picture challenges, and yeah, there's like 9 pictures, and it says click all the pictures that contain a road. I've got one road here for sure, and then another road over here for sure, and then I'm going into a bit of a bit of a like philosophical quandary over what is a road. Like, is a path a road for humans? Is a cycle lane a road for bicycles? Is some grass a road for ants? I don't know. Maybe I am a robot. Meanwhile, I'm just trying to order a pizza. Cholesterol 67. No more pizza for you. Shut up, you stupid robot. Alright, now, there's a lot of other things you could get me started on. Is there any topics you shouldn't get me started on? Out there, putting it out there to you, the audience.
Global warming excuses.
Don't get me started on pigeons and global warming. That pigeon shit is just piling up. All the methane's going into the atmosphere. Now, they say I fart a lot, but the pigeons in my roof, I'm sure, are a major contributor to global warming. And how do they even get there? I've never seen a baby pigeon, have you? Pigeons, robots. No, they're just too ugly for memes. Okay. Alright, don't get me started on what else. Fast food.
Cars.
Don't get me started on fast food cars. The next smart innovation from the supposed geniuses at Google. Yeah, apparently a car can competently drive itself and bring you food. So you can get fat and you don't even have to fucking walk to the car to go to McDonald's. Now that's what I call an innovation. Now there's a lot of other stuff I don't like, and there's a lot of other fast-moving stuff that happens all the time, but I've had enough. I'm tired. Thanks very much for listening, folks. Good night.
What I love about this claustrophobic tale of two gardens is the nonchalance and the false levity with which the metaphors of decapitation, starvation, and hostile invasion are stylized. The genial tone belies the painful yearning for happy times long gone, before the grey marauders came, before the vengeful gods tore down the frame of this hopeful existence. Now the fences and empty trellises are the prison that shuts out the sky, barely glimpsed in a few frames, then denied again, as if to say, no, there is no way out for the spirit. Instead, we are shunted down a twisty passage into a chaotic abyss where no comment is needed, no comment is possible, no meaning is left, and we are reduced to wandering a world of memories, sweet, hinted at, but irretrievable to us viewers, scarred by this vision of hell.
This is a tale of a garden of two halves. This is the mother garden. Here we have a lavender bush that has been nicely trimmed around the edges. This lavender was left to grow too large, so had to have a very extreme haircut. These are my pets waiting to be put back near the fence. They had to be moved when several fence panels were blown down in storms. Tom, Dick and Harry. This was a birdhouse with food last year, but unfortunately the grey squirrels around here took all the food, so now it's derelict. This is a rose bush that my daughter bought for me for my birthday. It has lovely yellow flowers in the summer. This is a ribis bush. My grandmother used to have them in her garden, so it brings back good memories. This is the dividing fence. And this is the father garden. No comment.
Good evening, viewers. This is Carl, esteemed belly dancer, amateur film critic. Now, this next video reminds me of a time when only males used to play all the roles in a given production. Some people would call these the good old days. Not me, though. I'm just saying I thought about it. While eating peanut butter from a jar and reflecting on the video, I realized life is a game. I'm not a huge fan of games. I don't actually even really know what the rules are. But I realized I haven't lost yet, and that's pretty cool. Please enjoy.
No, I don't go by that name anymore.
Sarah Whittle?
What do you want?
26 years ago, you played a game with a little boy down the street. A game with drums.
How do you know that?
I was that little boy, Sarah.
Hello, everybody. Once upon a time, my mum came to me and said, "You like women, maybe you'll enjoy this." I have to say, I'm a bit disappointed with the lack of advice on finding women, but I did find an interesting article, which I will read to you. Okay, so, sorry if I say anything wrong. Oh yeah, I also need some coffee. Okay, so, my life in health. Maddie Mahone has been a doula and breastfeeding counsellor for 15 years, helping women to make their own birthing choices. A friend told me I was a birthing companion, or doula, before I even knew they existed. I was pregnant with my second baby, chatting to her in the preschool playground around, feeling lost career-wise. She looked at me and said, "You're a doula." When she had her baby, she said I was the only person who gave her dinner and asked how she was, and didn't tell her what to do. To expect all women to give birth naturally is bollocks. No one gets to tell a woman what is best for her body and her baby. I describe the birthing options as a selection box of biscuits. I make no value judgment over whether it would be better to have a digestive or a jammy dodger. Jammy dodgers definitely are the best. What I want is for women to know what all the biscuits are, to have dispassionate conversations about the risks and benefits of each, to take into consideration their physical, psychological, and social context, and to make informed decisions. Having a doula in the room is sometimes a political act because a woman is worried about being coerced. Our role is to step in and say, are you okay with that? And very rarely it's necessary to say, stop, she has not given consent. The biggest misconception is that doulas have a natural birth agenda and that we're encouraging women not to trust their health professionals. All mammals find somewhere safe and private to birth. Humans are no different. Pregnancy, birth, and parenting is about oxytocin, the hormone of love, calm, and connection. It allows brain development and it's also what bonds us. Oxytocin comes when we feel private, unobserved, warm, loved, trusted, and safe from predators. That's why my most powerful tool is to suggest a woman sit on the toilet. It ticks all the boxes for oxytocin. It's private, you can turn the light off, there's only room for maybe one person, and we've trained our body since infancy to relax our pelvic floor on the toilet, allowing a baby to descend. Cool. Babies on the toilet. The stories we tell ourselves about birth are not based in fact, they're based in fear. Putting a normal event in medical situation has made births feel scary and dangerous. Things can go wrong, but more often than not, if we allow our own physiology to play out in the way that evolution has designed it, it will be okay. The World Health Organization says that 85 to 90% of us should be able to allow our bodies to birth a baby without medical intervention, but we focus on the 10 to 15% who can't. In 2009, an anesthetist, I'm saying it right in, and anesthetist, I'll put it up, wrote a paper accusing doulas of interfering in clinical decisions. We had a conversation during the rapid responses that followed and he changed his mind. Doulas are not there to interfere. We have a strict code of conduct that would absolutely forbid us from obstructing a health professional. We want every person in that room to be happy, so we're balancing the need of the labouring woman, her partner, the midwife, the paediatrician, and making sure all those lines of communication are smooth. So, it also has like a fact. The NHS is at crisis point. Now for every 29 newly qualified midwives join the service, 30 are leaving, and I see the NHS putting huge pressure on midwives. Doulas are midwives' biggest cheerleader. Resilience is the new buzzword. But telling a midwife to become resilient makes me spit with fury. It shouldn't be about developing the ability to cope with this toxic system. It's about changing the system. So I'll put the link to the article so you can read it for yourself and maybe fact check. I haven't fact checked this, so I just liked it. Okay, bye!